On your personal page or on the motivational page?
Personal page, right?
Got it. I'm gonna start a watch party. Boom.
I'm gonna smile because I'm over here and it's probably started. You gotta put a smile on. Hey,
All
everybody!
right, cool. Watch party started.
All right, we are live. This is Motivation Monday. I'm going to share the link on Motivation Monday while we are here, and then we'll get started. We'll get started with the introductions, and anybody wants to introduce themselves and what they do. And while I'm sharing the link, so let's start with Rashawn, since you're up on my top right or left, right.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Rashawn Howard. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're premiering a cooking show co-produced by me, hosted by me, called Connected Cooking, hence the shirt that I have on. Super excited. We're going to connect finance, fun, family, all in one. So yeah, they move out the way, hit that subscribe button. Uh, right on YouTube. It's going to be fun. October 7th.
October 7th is the launch of the
Yep,
cooking with you, cooking.
6:30 p.m.
Awesome, awesome. I am still. Who else wants to go? Benjamin, do you want to go? Introduce yourself.
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Kaikina. I'm the president and CEO for the Kalinga Area Chamber of Commerce. We are a rural community in the Central Valley of California, and our major productions are oil, marijuana, and state facilities, prison and hospital.
Wow.
One-stop shop.
It is a one-stop shop. Awesome. Welcome to Motivation Monday. Somebody's coming in, sorry. Shamara.
Hello, everyone. I am Shamora Renee, also known as Taffy the Clown. I am a professional clown and entertainer specializing in balloons, face paint, and clown magic. And I'm going to take a chapter out of Rashawn's page and say you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Taffy the Clown.
And believe me, everyone, she is a real clown. When the kids love her, she's done all my nieces' parties, birthday parties, and she's so amazing. She even has her own songs. All right, I think Victoria, you are next.
Oh, hi, I'm Victoria Nelson, and I'm a Mary Kay consultant. And my husband owns a cleaning company called Fresh Eyes Cleaning LLC. We do commercial and residential cleaning.
Amazing. Thank you and welcome. Melissa, on my screen, you're next. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. My name is Melissa Knights-Monaco. I'm a real estate agent in the Philadelphia area. I'm not sure what else you want me to share. I just jumped on. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, welcome. Real estate agent in the Philadelphia area. And if anybody has information, you can put it in your tags if you want someone to connect with you. With your social media. You can put it in the chat room. I see over here in the chat, Taffy. I just subscribed. So yes, people are subscribing. Who's next? Shonda, you're next. I don't know if you feel like it.
Hi, I'm Shonda. I'm also a real estate agent in the Philadelphia area as well. I make candles. So for real estate, you can find me at Real Estate First on Instagram. And you can also follow my candle page at KDC Candles on Instagram as well. I had to think about this stuff.
That's all right. You did great. Awesome. Who is next? I'm sorry, Tashawn.
Okay, Tashawn. I am the financial strategist. I help those who may feel uncomfortable with finances get comfortable. I help people put plans in place to help them get to the next level with their financial life, build better financial health, and achieve all of their financial goals. And yes, I'm located in the Philadelphia area as well. You can find me on Instagram at the financial strategist _.
Awesome. Welcome, Tyshawn. Awesome. Who's next? George, you're next.
Cool. So what's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is George Cephas. I am the founder of Survival to Success, which is a nonprofit that focuses on providing underserved communities with opportunities to heal mentally, spiritually, and financially. I'm also an author of a journal called 50 Questions of Healing, and my free ebook as well that's called Survival to Success, Moving the Black Community Forward. And if anybody wants to get that free ebook, you can get that at survivaltosuccess.org.
Awesome. Welcome. And I think that Tamara, you're next. T? Or not? Lori? Vicky. How about Vicky? Would you like to go next?
Hey.
So introduce yourself and your business. You have to unmute.
All right. Hi. Hi. And my business is Innovation Commercial Flooring. We do everything commercial in the Central Valley area region.
Central
Valley. So anywhere between Bakersfield and Lodi.
And I'm imagining that's in California.
Yes.
Okay, so this today is California meets Philly, Philly meets California. So we're all coming together. And the thing is, we talk about COVID, but this is the time we actually get to come together. We wouldn't have had this before, or I wouldn't even thought about it before. So yes, welcome. I think there's one more person, Lori. Or maybe we're being shy. It's okay too. Give you a couple seconds. All right. I am going to introduce myself. I am Shelly Shell Williams. I call myself Philly's Oprah, not because I think so, but because everybody told me I was Philly's Oprah. I'm a world-class presenter, social media marketer, and I am excited to be a part of this whole thing because Motivation Monday started 2 years ago. And the all-stars, which are Rashawn, George, Tyshawn, Shonda, Lori, George, I don't know. So everyone is part of an all-star team, and the all-star team started with us 2 years ago, and we all are together because we have like-minded, sorry, I'm gonna let somebody in. We're like-minded and we have like-minded aspirations in life, and we support each other. So thank you so much for being here. And I am going to introduce our guest for today. His name
Hey,
is
Shelly, before you introduce your guest, can I show you something really quick? Can I share my screen?
I was waiting. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Make sure I do this right. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Rashawn Howard. I am the host and co-producer of Connected Cooking, which premieres October 7th, only on YouTube. I'm also the CEO of Sean LLC. And listen, your network is your net worth. I'm going to say that one more time. Your network is your net worth. And Shelly Shell, you have been the epitome of what it means to ensure that so many people's network help to build our net worth. Over the last 2 years, you have made such a huge difference and has been such an inspiration in so many of our lives. So we felt that we would put this together just for you.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Khadijah Douglas, aka Dr. D, and I want to take a quick minute to shout out the one and only Shelly Shell Williams and her amazing motivation networking group. So I have been fortunate to be there since the beginning when Shelly first started her Motivation Monday networking group. They meet every third Monday, and I'll tell you right now, she has been able to curate an exceptional group of speakers that come in monthly and just drop gems and gems and gems for all of those people who are in business, looking to start a business, thinking about quitting their job. When I first went, I was still working a 9 to 5, and now here I am, a proud business owner and crushing it because, like I said, of the amazing, amazing speakers she has been able to pull together for us. So if you have not attended a Motivation Monday networking event, I don't know what you're waiting for. Get it together. All right, thank you, Shelly.
Great evening. My name is Rashawn Moore from Philadelphia. My background, I'm a business owner. I deal with telecommunications, utilities, and banking. And this is a special dedication to Shelly Shell, Miss Philly Oprah. She's such a phenomenal person. She loved the kids, always impacting lives and making a difference all since I've known her. And how she's taken me in and actually introduced me to some people, which turned into some beautiful relationships, which also turned into partnerships, which turned into family. So there's amazing opportunities that come from Shelly Shell. And I just like to say thank you. And that's what it's all about. Impacting lives, making a difference, and collecting thank yous. I got that from my coach, Shelly. And that's what we've been doing. So thank you, Shelly Shell.
Working with and networking with Shelly has been amazing. Working with her is easy. Anything you need to know, if she doesn't have the answer, she's going to go get the answer. Knowing that she's there and she believes in you, she's there to help you. Morning, noon, night, hook or crook, she's only a phone call away. Working with her is everything. Like, she is like a mentor. I look up to her. It's just, she's everything you would want to be as an entrepreneur. The partnerships that I have grown to love and build based on meeting her and going to her networking events are beyond disbelief. From, anything that you need, you can find with her and people around her, and they're always there to lend a helping hand and just be there for you. So Shelly Shell, you are one of the best women I know. You are Philadelphia's Oprah. You bring a lot to any and everybody that you meet. You are a blessing. You are a light. You shine bright. And I only wish to be that way one day.
Yo, what's going on? My name is George Cephas. I'm the founder of Survival to Success, and I wanted to give a big shout out to somebody that I hold near and dear to my heart, somebody that's a very special mentor to me, and that is Miss Shelly Shell Williams. I first met her a couple years ago. I just happened to stumble across one of her events, and the first thing that she said to me was, when I told her I was trying to start my business, she said, "Don't say that you're trying, because you're doing it. You're taking the steps to do it right now." And those are words that I always cut close to my heart. And since then, she's been one of my biggest supporters, one of my biggest motivators. She's had such a major impact on my life, and I literally would not be where I am today if it was not for her. Literally everybody that I work with is somebody that I met through her. She's given me so much knowledge and so much experience by just watching her do what she does and the way that she impacts people's lives on a daily basis. And so I just wanted to give a big shout out to her and say thank you for being such a major influence and such a major mentor within my life. So thank you so much, Shelly. I appreciate you.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, wow. Whoa. Oh, y'all.
Thank you,
Woo,
Shell.
y'all got a real G crying over. Woo, wow. I did not expect that. But thank you so much. Wow. Woo, welcome to Motivation Monday.
Shout out to Shelly.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. And I just pray for success for each and every person that is gathered here. Woo! Thank you for giving me my flowers while I am still here to enjoy it. Woo! Anyway, thank you, Michael. Welcome, welcome. Michael Loschke, he is the expert. He is a executive performance enhancement improvement expert. Hailing all the way from California. He's come from Arista Advisors. And he's actually been a mentor. We haven't known each other long, but he has actually, when you say improvement, he's made a lot of improvements in how I operate as far as hosting events. He made sure believe me, he made sure every I was dotted, every T was crossed. And you know what? That helps you to build a better community, a better system. So Michael Loschke, all the way from California, and guess what? He is all about water sports. Listen, he's a kayaker. Could you imagine that? He's kayaking, he's in the water. So not only is he an expert, he also digs the water. So thank you so much for coming to us from California. So this is California meets Philly meets California. So thank you so much and welcome, Michael Loschke.
Thank you, Shelley, and nice to see all of you. I don't know if everybody in Philadelphia is this beautiful, but it's great to see all your shining faces, and I hope the others can go camera live. And a special shout out to those of you that are over here on my coast. Appreciate having Vicki in the room again, and I got a chance to talk with Benjamin a little bit. I think this is great. You know, you've epitomized why you're known as the city of brotherly love, right? We just had a large dose of all the love, and that says a lot about you, Shelley. So I'm really honored to have an opportunity to be here and to connect with Philadelphia again. So where would you like to start, Shelley? This is a conversation, by the way. I'm not here to pontificate. Vicki knows that. I really encourage you a couple things, I guess I should say, and then I'll kick it back to Shelley. One, if you haven't, please put your contact information over in the chat sections. That enables the other members on the call here to reach out to you later on with the broadcast or after the broadcast. And at the very top, you will see that one of the ways that keeps the lights on and pays the bills during COVID for me is that I have a wonderful sponsor out here in California called Mid-Valley Promotions. And that's actually a strategic partner of ours. And we'll talk more about strategic partners later, but Mid-Valley should be a resource for any of you that are trying to find ways to create positive memories in people's minds. And so for all of you on the call tonight, if you want to make sure that I have your contact information, an email and a phone number or a mailing address, even better, we're going to send you one of these beautiful Arista. You can use this to wipe your computer screen, your phone screen, your eyeglasses. I'm always looking for these things because I'm old and white and blind. So there you go. So anybody that would like one, all you got to do is put your mailing address over on the side or put your contact information if you need to hide from the government or the satellites or whoever's snooping on where your mailing address box is. All right, there you go. Back to you, Shelley.
All right. I think that is an amazing promotional item, something that you will always use. You put it next to your computer, you put it in your pocket, and it always says Arista, and that is an awesome promotional item, which is what we do, always thinking outside the box, making sure we have something to put our name out there. So way to go, Michael. So we're gonna start, we have a poll. And so do you want to do the poll now? I'm going to put one of the poll questions.
No, I think that's a great thing. So those of you that have your cameras on, you'll see the poll, and hopefully Lori, Tashawn, Lauren, KD, Rashawn, and Shonda can all see the first poll question there. We just want to take a temperature here. What do you think is going to happen in the next 6 months? Are you at this point, we're all 6 months into COVID, right? So 6 months starting October 1st, are sales going to grow for you? Are they going to decline? Are they going to stay flat? And by what percentage? There's no right or wrong answers. Everybody just choose. Should be a singular choice on there. You really can't decline 10 and grow 20. That'd be a net 10 and that'd be a mess. So just choose one of those. If you're anticipating, you've been working hard, you've been marketing, you've been strategizing, you're increasing your network with shows like Motivation Monday, then maybe you think you're going to have a 10 or 20% growth. So if everybody just quickly populate that, we should get a response.
How do you get to it?
All right, is everybody able to see it?
Do I need to make it bigger?
Not me. Where is it? In the chat?
Should be right there in the middle of the screen. Can everybody
Yes,
see?
it's in the middle of the screen. Can you see it?
Oh, it popped. It popped out of mine.
Oh.
I think Claudia's saying something, but I can't hear her. Your microphone's.
It wouldn't allow me to, I chose something and then it wouldn't allow me to press enter, submit.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, you have to answer all 3 questions before you can submit. So I answered all 3 and then just submitted it.
All right.
Oh, okay. I didn't see 3.
That's all right. So that's how it got constructed. No problem. So we'll let you peek behind the curtain here, right? So there's going to be 3 questions here. So take a moment. The second question is pretty straightforward as well, I hope. Based on a 5 to 10% of your projected sales revenue. So if you didn't go to B school, your sales revenue is what you're bringing in each month. So are you bringing in $500, $5,000, and over a period of a year, it's times 12. So I'm just curious how people approach marketing budgets. Marketing budgets. So projected sales revenue on a monthly basis. It's easier to figure out what you think you're going to earn each month. $500, $1,000, $50,000. And then what would your budget be? And you have 5 choices there, right? I don't know what you're talking about, Michael. I can't calculate this. It would be over $1,000. If you're doing $10,000 a month, 5% would be $500 to $1,000.
Hey, Michael, we're like Melissa said in chat, I only answered the first question and the survey disappeared. How about throwing the survey up?
Repost the survey, Shell.
Okay. It says end polling. So if I end it, will that bring it back up? Will that mess it up?
I can't answer that. I'm not sure. Go ahead and end polling and see if you can reinitiate it. Can you bring it back up?
Mm-hmm. But it will clear existing poll.
That's fine. That's what we're gonna do. We'll have everybody. Rashawn's already got speed 3 answers. He can just pop his in. You got it. Can you bring it back up again for everybody?
Yep, I will. I was gonna. It says share results. I'll relaunch the poll.
Okay. All right. So 3 questions. Do you see your revenue, sales revenue going up or down? The second question is based on 5 to 10% of your monthly sales revenue. Where would your budget be? And the third question, last time I measured my customer service experience was, and that one, it would again be a single choice, last week, last time they purchased, last month or last year, or I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never done it. This is what we call salting the pork. Do you have that expression out there in Philly? How about pulled pork?
I don't know.
All y'all eat pulled pork? That's what I did over the weekend. I grilled a pork butt out here and we did pulled pork Saturday night. It was delicious.
It sounds delicious.
It was good. I love me some Carolina barbecue. All right, everybody get a chance to pop in those 3 answers? Just 1 per question?
Yes, yes.
And then you should be able to post the results. Give a thumbs up. I don't know if we're going to pick up the other 4 or 5. They might be. Okay, we're getting there. So here's what we got, right? Most of us seem to feel pretty good that business is going to grow, right? Between 20% and 30%, that would be over half of us are imagining growth in the next 6 months, the next 2 quarters. That's probably better than most of the economists. Can all of you see the screen where it says host is sharing poll results? Yeah. Second question was based on marketing budget. And this will be real key to tonight's conversation. What are we putting out there? My favorite analogy is I want to give all of you a Ferrari unless it You don't like Ferraris, in which case I'll give you a Lamborghini or a Tesla, the gas kind of Tesla. But the bottom line is, if you don't put gas in it, you're not going anywhere, right? So we want to talk about how you come to funding marketing as a budget. Most of us are spending less than $500 a month. And then finally, are we measuring this customer service experience? And the emphasis tonight will be on the experience, not necessarily service. Service gets overused. It's kind of ubiquitous. Some of us did it last year, and that's good that we're doing it. Some of us haven't done it or never or don't know. And so when we look at strategies tonight and discuss different ways, these are opportunities for us to again reach into our bag of strategies and tactics and say, wow, some of these things are really low and no cost. We just need to take advantage of reconnecting. So I appreciate you all participating in that, and we may bring this back up later on for the results as other people come in, and we'll get back to the Q&A. Thank you, Shelley.
All right, that was awesome. So when it comes to that type of thing, we don't think about the numbers, not me, maybe Rashawn or Tyshawn, but we don't think about the numbers and how we get to the numbers. So is that, let's talk about your title, improvement expert. Is that how you do that? How do you assess someone and know that they need to improve in certain areas?
Well, it's a very appropriate question. I think first thing you learn, in B school is that which gets measured gets managed, right? So it's really essential if you have goals in your business, I'm sure you all do, to make the transition from I want to make more, or I want to make a whole lot more, I want to work less or a whole lot less, to putting a metric on that. I'd like to make 20% more in the next quarter, and I'd like to make 50% more in 2021. That requires that you know how much you made this last year or the last quarter. That's the other thing. So when we write objectives for clients, for example, in their goal plans, the objective always has to be stated with a from and a to, right? So I want to go from 2,000 a month to 4,000 a month. That's real clear, right? That's 100% or 200% increase. And then we have charted the trajectory. So, or for you all, anyway, we know how steep the hill is going to be. And it would go right on down the line, right? A lot of people don't know what they're spending on advertising. It's kind of one of those cookie jar things. I have money, I'll spend it. I don't have any money, so I'm not going to invest in any kind of advertising or marketing right now. And I think that's backwards. I think if you start with what you're earning and always make sure that there's gas in the tank. You got to get to the grocery store, right? You wouldn't have a car in a garage if you couldn't drive it. And yet we do it all the time with business. I'm making $5,000, $10,000. I want to make 20 or 50 or 100 grand a month. And we're just failing to make sure that we have a marketing budget that can accommodate that growth.
So how do we know that we need this marketing budget? How do we assess our companies to know that we need what particular marketing budget, and what if we don't have the money?
Well, I think your last part of the question is probably more pointed, right? We don't have the money. And so it's one of those things that one of the greatest strategies you could all adopt this next quarter, if not for 2021, is to get a written plan. Planning is undervalued. It's considered by a lot of people as being time consuming. I know what I want to do. It's on a cocktail napkin. I don't have a lot of employees, so I know what my plan is. It's in my head. But a number of things changed dynamically, not the least of which is when you put it down on paper, it becomes real. It becomes real. When you establish some measurable objectives, then you are obligated to come up with some measurable strategies. So for example, again, going back to that growth thing, one of the strategies has to be, I must increase my marketing budget. And I'm using that word very carefully. I don't know what it means to a lot of you. In my experience, talking to thousands of small business owners, I say marketing, and they all hear advertising. And I don't mean advertising, I mean marketing. So all the ways that you educate your client on what your goods and services are, and more importantly, perhaps how you differentiate. COVID has created a lot of very different problems for us as small business owners. And so a lot of us are being lost in the shuffle. People had to do shelter in place, and they made many substitutions. So, you know, I think understanding that you have an obligation to constantly create new awareness to people that don't know you even exist, what your goods and services are, and then still farther to have regular and frequent dialogue with them. That requires some tools. You know, it might be this. Notice I got this for the specific purpose that I can fold it up and mail it to y'all, and it cost me about 70 cents, right, with an envelope out here in California. I'm not going to trade shows this year. I don't. How many of you? I'm curious. We'll do this. This is my aerobic content. Left hand. How many of you normally do trade shows or public events where people are able to see you and connect with you and develop business that way? Public events where you're able to network, people see you, connect with you, and develop business. Just 4 of us? The rest of you? 5? Okay, that's good. So most of us that have the monitors on. My point here is that we're not doing that right now. We're not going to be doing it in the foreseeable future. If you were going to jump a plane and do a trade show or drive your car to another town, you'd have a booth, you'd have a table. I think somebody mentioned they had Mary Kay business. We have real estate agents. Most of these people are very, most of us are very people oriented. So how do you deal with that during COVID? You're going to have to do more of this, and then you have to have follow-up tools that continue to, these aren't expensive, by the way. I'm sure all of you could afford these. They're, you know, they're $5,000 each, and any of you that want one, just fill out that. No, they're less than a couple bucks. You know, so you can afford that for your business, and I think it goes a long ways toward goodwill right now. Most of us have been running silent and deep, right, the last 6 months. So I think I got to your question again, which is how do we market without money? And that's the wrong answer. The question is, what percentage of my revenue am I obligated? If you had a child, you wouldn't say, well, I can't afford to feed them. I have a car, but I can't afford to put gas in. Well, then why have the car? And I think you have an obligation for a child. It would be the same with a pet. A business is all of those things. If you have a business, you have an obligation to make sure that the business has gas. It's got to go. And so start small, at least 5% of your monthly budget. Again, if most of us look like that would be less than a couple $100. So the real question isn't what can I do for free, but how do I get a higher return on investment on the 200, 300, 400 that I am able to invest? And how do I invest still more in the future going down the road? Meaning your budget should be elastic. It should increase as you are generating revenue, because that's the gasoline, right? All of you know Kevin O'Leary?
Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Leary?
Yeah. Kevin says if something's not working, you know, kill it 6 months if he's not making money with it. And that's an unfortunate thing. But, you know, if our business, if we've been struggling, we don't have a model. On the other hand, if you find something that's working, then the answer is to throw marketing at it, right? Put more energy, put more gas on that fire. So some of the tough questions tonight might be, again, just how do we make sure our business is working? And if it's broken, what are the missing pieces?
How do we discover what those missing pieces are? What are some of the tools that we can use to discover what the missing pieces are?
Well, I think you have a slide, or I can show mine. Either way, do you want to put the slide up on pricing? I think most of us probably undercharge for our goods and services. Would that be a surprise to those of you that are watching? Nope. JD says nope.
You said,
anybody ready for a price increase?
Mm-hmm. No, could you show the slide? Because I think I was signed out.
Yeah, sure. So if I can share the screen, I think you're going to have to allow me to.
Yes, it'll allow you. Everybody, you can share the screen.
We'll see how big this is over here. So you might be familiar, some of you might be familiar with cost of goods sold, right? Can all of you see this monitor or this on your screen? Trying to get as many of you in here as possible. can only see 6, it looks like, at a time. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
All right, good enough. So, you know, somebody like Vicky, she's probably real experienced in this, but a lot of us that have service businesses may not have approached it this way. If you can see my cursor, all right, that you could print this page out or take a screenshot of it, you know, and print it out for yourself. But I find that it's the first thing that every business owner needs to have a serious look at. The cost of goods sold, this would be your materials, right? What does it cost for you in terms of materials? And this is how you build your pricing. The second would be something like labor, which for those of us that are in service businesses, probably is 50% or more of our total costs. And then overhead over here is fixed. And the two things I find with solopreneurs and small businesses is they forget the most important reason that they went into business. Anybody want to shout it out? Why did you go into business?
To make money.
Who said to make money? Who said to make money?
Victoria.
Victoria, she said to make money.
All right. So, you know, here again, I'm going to be a picky guy out here, but I want to, you know, it's all done with the same brotherly love they shared with you, Shelley. It's not to make money. You can have a $10 million lemonade stand. If it costs you $10 million to operate it, you've made no money. It's to make
freedom.
It's to make a profit, right? So this is net profit right over here, this green thing. And you have to build that into your formula. If you're struggling right now to budget for marketing, I got $100 in my pocket says you also don't know what your profit margins are, and you're probably not even profitable, right? And that is not what you pay yourself. If you're the primary person that delivers the services, then your labor should be captured over here under, or down here, I guess, under labor expense. So again, if you have a materials business, a third. Materials business would be materials in here, labor in here, and overhead. Overhead is fixed costs. Marketing is one of those things. So the lights, if you have your business in your bedroom, the federal government allows you to deduct a small percentage, whatever that is, square footage of your total rent. If you have office space, if you have a vehicle that you make deliveries with. So these are fixed costs. And again, my recommendation is if you've got an established business, on the low end, you should be 5% of your gross monthly sales. And on the high end, maybe as high as 10, 12. I've seen 15 in businesses that are exploding. 15 cents out of every dollar. That's the easy way to think about this. And when all that's said and done, your profit margin is still built into the price of your goods. So just to give you all a number, for every dollar you earn, let's say 30 cents is materials, 30 cents is labor, 30 cents is overhead. And what does that leave me for my net profit margin? Anyone shout it out. We're moving too fast.
30, 60, 90,
30, 60, 90. How much we got for net profit?
10%.
All right. 10% net profit. That would be good for a business to start, right? 10% net is after Uncle Sam gets his fingers into the pie too. So that's a big strategy for me tonight. Number two, if you were counting, right? Number one is get your plan written down. Number two is to make sure that the plan has measurable objectives that are stated as from and to in dollars, percentages. They have to be graphical. And number three is you've got to know what it costs, every little iota that you're selling, every hour. We have a DJ in here. I don't see him tonight. Is he here? I saw a DJ on a previous thing. You know, that's a big question. Should I expand? Should I do this in my business? Everything should be going through these measurements, right? You can and should spend the money on paper first because it's way cheaper than writing the check later and getting nothing back.
So you saying before?
What did you say number two was?
Somebody just said something?
I didn't say it. Somebody else?
Okay, so
I said, what did you say number two was?
Oh, what was number two?
Yeah, so number one was get it written. Number two was a written plan. It says you're serious. You have a partner, Victoria, right? Your husband, I think I heard you say.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any other employees?
One.
One. So in order to communicate your vision, your mission, and what are these key success metrics, right? Those objectives, you should be writing that down, because it says to other people in your business, hey, I'm serious. I'm not carrying this around in my head. It says to the employee, I know exactly what Victoria wants from me and what it is that we need to grow.
Okay, thank you.
So how does that work when you have a nonprofit, say, and that doesn't necessarily, it's not a, it doesn't necessarily draw money. You can't necessarily get money from it. You don't have a product for anything. So how do you calculate what you're supposed to do, or what you're supposed to bring in, or what you're supposed to make, if you don't see a way to make the money?
Well, the first thing I heard, Shelley, was nonprofit. Do we have a nonprofit on the air right now with us on the call? Okay, very good.
Yeah, 2 nonprofits, yeah.
So
3.
Again, pardon me, but my differentiation, George, and whoever else, it's really important. Nonprofit is a tax status in my mind. It's not a business mindset. If you want to have a winning nonprofit, you approach it the same as an entrepreneur, the same as a business person. You should have a plan. You need to have measurable objectives. You need to have strategies. I'm going to do this objective. I'm going to grow revenues or services from 3 services to 5 services in my nonprofit, and I'm going to do it by this, this, and this. Those things would be the strategies. If you fail to articulate and communicate effective strategies, we frequently do what Zig Ziglar used to say: I'm pushing water uphill with a rake. You know, it's not a good strategy. Yeah, but we've always done it that way. In fact, right now, George, I'm working with United Cerebral Palsy. You might be familiar with them. It's a nationwide organization. They work with people with different levels of functionality. Their brain has been affected, right? And it's all about dignity and helping those individuals gain independence. When UCP went dark in March, board of directors still had a fiduciary responsibility to developing a business plan. They run a July through June calendar, and they'd never, in the operation of the 50-year-old branch out here, had a written plan with budgets, right? So, and apparently National was okay with that. So how many large established nonprofits in our communities aren't operating with a written plan, aren't communicating clearly to their executives, aren't communicating? We haven't even talked about customers yet, guys. That's another whole conversation. So anyway, we spent 2 days post-COVID in August and again September working with the board to get that plan written down so that we can cascade it through the organization. Each director knows exactly what metrics they are responsible for. That's called alignment. And that would be who's keeping track? Is that number 4? You've got to align the owner or the executive director. If you're an executive, George, you've got to align it. Vicky's an executive. You must align your vision, your objectives, your strategies with your team. Because we find that there's lots of hardworking people out there, but you know what I hear from all my CEOs? They're working on the wrong stuff. They're not following the ball I'm following on. I can't pay the bank with no money, right? So that tells me they're working on the wrong things. In this current environment, there had to be a huge change because you can't deliver services in a lot of nonprofits because of the COVID barrier, right? So immediately within 30 days, we have taken a lot of these nonprofit services online into the internet. Every day, these classes are going on. We didn't simply strip out that service for people. So you do have to think outside the box, but I'm beating a dead horse probably. You got to write it down first, and it starts with you, the owner, you, the CEO, you, the executive director.
You mentioned, what are some high ROI strategies small business owners can use to improve their success?
I think we've covered at least a few of them, right? Getting it written down. But let me venture in, and I'm saying it again because Many of us, the argument is, I don't need a loan from a bank. That was what I was told. If I wanted to start my business and I wanted to get a loan, Benjamin shaking his head, then I needed to go write a business plan. And my experience is nobody does anything with that. It goes into a spiral book, or even cities. I have municipalities with 20 binders and they don't look at them. This is the tool. An effective business plan is something you pull out every single month. That's a high ROI, high return on investment strategy. My business plan is a living document. If I said I'm going to move from here to here in revenue, or here to here in customer service, here to here in programs, then it's recorded in that document, and I have an obligation to pull out the numbers and say, how am I progressing? Most of us, again, get balled up in the operations, so it's essential for a lot of folks just to be honest. If I'm going to have accountability, I have to have a Shelly or a Sheree. I think I heard that she does some of this stuff. You've got to have an accountability partner, somebody that makes sure that you first and foremost are doing it. And then second, you have to interact with your people. So if you have employees or you have other people that are using your plan, you have to have a different conversation. And let me give you an example of one that I hate, but I know you've all probably experienced. Matthew, where did you work before you started your own business? And you're on silent. Can you unmute? Can somebody unmute now?
Okay, so I worked in education before I started my own business.
Excellent, excellent. So once a year, the boss called you in education and said, how's it going, Matthew? I need to do an annual review, right? You know where I'm going with this? Yeah, sometimes it doesn't happen in organizations. And if we're only doing it, and I'm gonna give my puppies and kids example, most of us have had kids by this point. You wouldn't expect your child to become potty trained if you checked in with them once a year. Hey, how you doing with that, right? And you wouldn't expect your puppy to be housebroken the same way, right? There needs to be this repetition, particularly when we're talking about behavior being modified. So I think it's really essential that, again, the plan is a living document, and that the conversations that we hold with our team members, our subordinates, that they're holding that metric. And I want you all to write this part down. This will be a game changer for you. Instead of you saying, right, like you were evaluated, Matthew, instead of you saying you're not performing or good job, you get to keep your job, have the employee, have the subordinate, have the team member explain their performance to you in 50 words or less, written. Have the employee explain to you how they have improved. Well, I improved 2 of the 10%. I generated $5,000 this month, and I was only supposed to generate 4 in sales, and here's how I did it. If they're fundraising, George, we are 2/3 of the way toward our next fundraiser, and I'm only supposed to be halfway there. That tells me right away, right? It's a very focused conversation, because I don't know a business owner, I don't know a manager that wants to, will pull out the whip and the carrot and say, well, what am I going to do? It's the end of the year, and I got to write up an annual review. Annual reviews don't work. Business plans that are written work. Business plans that are owned by each team member work. That means they're aligned, cascaded through the organization. It would be the same with marketing. I have lots of people that do what they love to do in their business, but they're not doing the important things, right? How many of you know you need to make cold calls, but you don't want to make those cold calls? Yes, Maura, I can't hear you. Oh, you're making them. Okay, cool. Yeah. Right? I mean, if it takes cold calls, it might take cold calls. If you need a different strategy, well, then that's another reason to write it down, right? You can't have the one strategy that you won't do become the blockade for your success of achieving the objective. But we let employees do that all the time. Well, Shamora, you set up the plan, or Victoria. It was your business plan, Victoria, and you told me to do this, this, and this, and I did that, and I didn't make the goals, so it's not my fault. And that's where I'm telling you, change it. Let them tell you what the strategies are, and you approve the strategies. Don't wait till the end of the year. Don't wait even till the end of the quarter. I tell you, within 30, 60 days, you should see the right tactics and the right strategies being executed, because there's something that most of us need to do every single day. It's usually the things we don't want to do in our business, right? Most of us are operations fans.
That is true. So you mentioned earlier customer service and possibly how do you get customers or obtain or keep your customers or obtain the ones you already had? How does customer service play a role in that?
Well, you know, based upon everybody wants to grow revenue right now, we figured half of us are anticipating growth, right? And again, we need some gas in the tank, a budget. We need to have some strategies that we know work. Here's where I throw cold water on everybody and I say, don't go out and try to get any new customers. If you are not regularly talking, and regularly for me is at least once a month, to your customers from the last year, you're losing them by the day. For every new customer you bring in, 2 go out the back door. So whatever number we're on for strategies, focus on retention right now, guys. And how do we do that? What's the strategy if the objective is to retain? So for example, if I lost 30% of my clients last year, let me give you a different statistic. You can and should plan for 20% death rate every year anyway. So if you had 50 clients last year, expect 10 of them are going to move, die, quit, go out of business, move on. You have to build in recidivism. So at bare minimum, if you lose 20%, that's a national statistic, international statistic in business. If you lose 20%, that's might be a goal you could work on. I want to go from losing 20% to only losing 10%. That would mean you'd have 50% increase, right? An improvement in the business. Then what are the strategies? Well, strategy number 1 is it doesn't cost me a dime to pick up the phone anymore, compliments of all the mobile devices. So I should be calling 10 of my past clients every week. How are you? What can I do for you? Not what can I sell you? What can I do for you? We're still alive. How is your family? Reconnect with them on a personal level. It won't cost you anything. I've been doing it since March. My mentors, my gurus, my clients, I've been telling them it doesn't cost you anything. You've got to make that connection. If you let Jeff Bezos in your wallet, he will suck it up. He's getting all your money from Amazon. He's eliminated most of the needs for local small businesses because I can get it faster, cheaper. It's a commodity. What all of you sell as individual entrepreneurs is the level of service. And I'm going to take that still further. It's the other half of your question, Shelley. Not service as how's my service, but how is my service experience? What is the definition of my customer service experience? Have all of you defined that? How will I define customer service experience in my business? That's a no-cost thing for everybody to do, right, as a key strategy. But I'll tell you right now, 90% of businesses aren't doing it or haven't defined it. And the 10% that are, don't do a really good job measuring. One way to do it, 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb, right? Let's all flash back to 3rd grade. What are the senses? What are the senses?
Eyes.
Taste,
Taste, smell, feel. What was it? Touch, not feel, touch.
Taste.
Exactly. Those are the 5. So start with that. Write those 5 down. Taste, touch, sight, smell, sound. Now personify them. Redefine them for your business. If you have a bricks and mortar business, smell is really critical. In fact, a lot of people don't know this, but for small business people, that can make or break the first experience. They open that door, right? Real estate agents know that. Where are my agents? What smell do we make our houses smell like when we're doing an open house, agents? Where are you?
Apple pie.
Apple pie. What else? Cookies. I hear cookies all the time. Why would you do such a thing? Do you go down and get Glade? No, the smart agent gets the $1.99 roll of Pillsbury, shoves those puppies in the oven, and lets them fill the whole house, right? It immediately does something psychologically
Mm.
to the senses. When you walk in, wow, this house is different than the other 19 we looked at this week, honey. I don't know. It just feels like home. So if you have a retail business, let me go to the other end, the shallow, ugly, sad end of the pool. You let your employees eat lunch at their desk, and so had tuna salad yesterday. I know it because I've been in your business and I sat 10 feet from the desk. Maybe it's you. Maybe you like to put the coffee on in the morning. It smells great until about 2 in the afternoon when that acrid burn smell is permeating the entire building, right? Or my favorite, it was till I found out it was cancerous, microwave popcorn. That stuff smells great for about 10 minutes, but how many times can you smell it for days and weeks later? So be aware, the olfactory sense, smell, was developed in the womb. I think it had something to do with evading the dinosaurs, right? You got to know when something be sneaking up on you. So be aware. If you are a professional service person, even in COVID, 6 feet away, some of all y'all are just killing me with that cologne or that perfume. Or maybe you just didn't stand next to Mr. Dial enough. I don't know what it was, but be aware that that's the first thing that people are going to, if they're spending more than a couple minutes with you, right? That's the thing that lingers. It may not be the first thing. Ladies will tell you that guys, they'll look right at your shoes and determine how successful you are, right? So if you're in a professional service business, are your shoes in great shape? Are they well maintained, right? Sight, that's that vision thing, right? Sound. Those of you that are DJs, hopefully you're working your pipes, right? Or you've got one of these goofy mic things here. But be aware if you have a shrieky voice. Most everybody I've heard tonight, right? On the telephone, they can't see you. They can't see you. So work in the shower, guys. Do the yawning thing. Run some trills up and down, ma, 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 and just realize when I get on the phone, 2 things have to happen. 1, I want to have a full voice, and 2, more importantly, I have to have a big what in my voice. Big what? A big smile. Thank you, Maura. Yeah, you got to have a big smile. You've got to have super positive energy in there because people are suffering. They're at home from COVID. They do not want to talk to you. They've successfully dodged your calls from the office, and now you're being forwarded to their cell phone in their man or woman cave. So be sure that these simple things that we're not, look at your environments. If you're doing a lot of these Zoom things, right? I will just tell you right now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think this is going away. I don't mean COVID, there'll be a cure at some point, but doing business online is gonna save corporations gazillions. Something between 10 and 15% of all the real estate in North America will no longer be used for commercial purposes because they've already figured out all the money they're saving with you guys working out of your houses, right? And what that means is, again, we're not going to have trade shows and conferences anytime for the foreseeable future. They require too much hazard, airlines. So you should and can be saving money and investing in $2 goodies and putting those in the mail and calling your clients at least once a month. Those of you that know my background, I taught for an organization called Constant Contact. For less than $50 a month, you can stay in touch with 500, 5,000 people at the push of a button, right? And you need to do that. So think again, I need the written word for the eyes. I need the phone call for the voice. And this may be the third way, right? The face-to-face, as good as it gets. But I'll also caution you, Zoom is only as effective as the last memory you created with someone. So it won't ever replace meeting people. I'm always happy to see Vicki because I remember the first time I met Vicki and we've talked a lot. So I get to draw off of those emotions. My favorite someday when I've got a white collar on and I'm standing at a pulpit is we're all built for relationship, guys. This COVID thing is the worst nightmare than anybody ever imagined. We've been separated by the human element that we all crave. Some of us crave it more than others, right? And you know who you are. If you're in sales, if you're in PR, if you like working with people, if you do social work, you're a people person. Every real estate agent you know is a people person. So this is a deal killer if you don't figure out how to use these mediums to reconnect and to rebuild and ultimately to even reimagine your business. And so I think a lot of you tonight will just be left with more questions than answers. Boy, my business hasn't been working for 2 years. What am I going to change? Is it budget? Is my pricing model wrong? What services are people not interested in buying? Is it me? Sorry, I got up on my pulpit, Shelley. Go ahead.
No, that was good. I think we're at the question stage, but that you gave some major gems. And when you mentioned constant contact, I wanted to say this one thing. When you think about keeping in touch, right? You think, okay, hey, we got this whole social media thing, and I love social media, but TikTok been going to court. They're trying to take TikTok away. They're trying to take it all away, right? So if you built this whole following up on TikTok and you built this following up on social media, and all of a sudden it's gone, how are you keeping in touch with your people? So that's where the whole constant contact comes in. That's when the email marketing comes in. And that's where we need to really make sure we do something, some type of lead generation to get people to our email list. Because TikTok could possibly, I don't believe it's going to go, but the fact is that they're trying to take it away, right?
It just got bought.
How?
It just got bought by a company, so it's going to stay.
Yeah, that's what I said. They've been talking about it, and I didn't think it was going to leave, but
2 days ago.
But the point was that they could take anything away, right?
Diversify.
Right, they could take it away. So what are you doing to keep in contact? What are you doing? So I'm going to go ahead and say that, and then we'll get into other things after the questions. I think Shamar, Taffy the Clown, you have a you have a question?
Shelley, but I just don't want to leave people with just that. And Vicki, apologies if you've already heard this. Benjamin came in again on it. So I have caveats, right? If you're not already doing social media and doing it well, that means for the purposes of your business. And so what is the engagement, or what is the metric, right? I said the first thing you have to have is a written plan. The second thing is you must have measurable or graphable metrics for all your objectives. So if you decide the strategy is to use social media, you have to be ruthless about what you're putting out there and how much time it takes and ultimately what you're getting back. It's not enough to have 1,000 fans out there if nobody's spending money with you, right? I'm not against social media, but ideally, again, if you see it as the tide, right? The ocean comes in the morning and it goes out at night. Comes in the morning and goes out at night. You can push social media out to subscribers, and you have the ability to bring social media people that do not know you into your list. And that's where Shelley's going. You can control that list. All that being said, the greatest sin is the problem twofold. One, the 11th commandment in the email business, that is, thou shalt grow thy list. So that becomes a huge strategy, right? Not only do I want to grow my list from 50 or 500 people to 1,000, but I'm going to do that by not buying them, not stealing them, not borrowing them, but by providing value. And the value has to be both valuable, not by your perception, but by your subscribers' perception, and it must be relevant. There is more information that will be created this year than all the information throughout all time. So the greatest sin any of you could do is rush down, buy an email marketing program like Constant Conduct and start spewing out flyers for your business. You're going to have to produce content that is relevant and valuable. And 1 out of every 5 times that you do that, you're entitled to say, and oh, by the way, I'm in the Mary Kay business. Oh, by the way, I can offer or help you. And if you'd like a concrete example, make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. And you'll see that I have offers, but they're buried at the bottom of my newsletter intentionally, and I provide valuable resources to people every month. Thanks, Ellie.
Okay, Shamar, you had a question? Taffy the Clown.
Yes, it was more of a comment. Thank you so much, Michael. You've been saying some great things. I've been fortunate enough to be in a position, well, one, I believe in multiple streams of income. So I've always made sure that I've had ways, I foresee issues and I think of things. And, as far as investing in real estate, or if it's the clowning business or whatever endeavor I get involved in, I make sure I have a backup plan to my backup plan and I save. So during COVID, probably 95% or more of the business that I generate with regards to clowning is in-person events that I do. I'm in a position where the money isn't a problem because I happen to save quite a good portion of money. It's being out at events all the time and always constantly doing things. I did not focus on the back end. So now that we're in COVID, I am going through exactly what you said. It's like, okay, I know my customers need an in-person event. I'm there and the money is just totally coming in and it's not a problem. But now that, I'm here, I'm trying to figure out what is it that my customer really wants? What is it that I can deliver and provide value, and how to go about doing that? So, previously, because I've been clowning for 10 years, it's like, okay, everyone says you need a business plan, especially if you need a loan. Money wasn't the issue. So that wasn't at the forefront. But now I find myself in a position where I can't do live events, or I should say my live events are limited. And usually I'm used to corporate events and making a lot of money at an event. So now I'm doing more like small house parties if I do get out. So now I see the importance of a plan. So just thank you for reiterating that, because I'm not in a bad position, but it is kind of difficult to now backtrack and try to get my business aligned to be plan worthy and actually work in the plan.
Well, if you're asking for comment, I appreciate the thought, and I can't imagine anything more difficult than being in the clowning business. Certainly we need that. Children need it, families need it. You ask a question and maybe it was rhetorical, but it would apply to all of us, all of you here on the call. We don't know what we don't know about our customers' needs. And trust me, they have changed in the last 6 months. Vicki, I gotta guess you're in an enviable position, because I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a great rear view mirror. And I remember 9/11. Some of you might have been old enough to remember what happened to this country right after 9/11. Well, there was Yan Can Cook on PBS and maybe one other Julia Child knockoff. But in the next 2 years, there were 50 chefs coming at us. The home shopping network exploded. There's 29 of those now. And people just started piling money like nobody ever imagined. And we've enjoyed that in the last 6 months. Look at your friends and neighbors, the new toys they got, the upscale or the improvements they put in their home. So if your business is struggling, strategy number one that you can change is look at the businesses around you that are benefiting from consumer behavior to feel safe. We call it cocooning, right? There's a list of these businesses on my last newsletter. You can go into the archive. But in short, I suggested or shared this earlier, you can't buy camping gear this last summer. You couldn't buy a kayak. They were all sold out by July. Bicycles, like nobody had ever ridden a bike before. We just discovered them, and bicycles were out of stock all over the place. If you're in the shipping or transit business, or you could sell to the shipping or transit business, have you noticed that Amazon doesn't deliver in your neighborhood once a week? It's usually once every 2 hours now. I'm not exaggerating. These trucks are everywhere. So there are businesses that are exploding right now with demand based upon shelter in place, based upon fear and anxiety. And I am not one of those guys who likes to leverage negative emotions like fear and anxiety. But first and foremost, get on the phone and ask your clients, your customers, how are you? And what can I do to help? Address or share the fear and anxiety you have about the future. And don't try to sell. Part two is, if you're clowning and you can't do clowning now, then Shamora, I would have the direct conversation with those clients from the last 2 or 3 years. Hey, I can't do it, and I know I can't do it. But what could we do? Would you be open if I cut my fees in half and I will do a clowning session via Zoom? You're not spending gas. You only have to put your outfit on from the waist up. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a good spitballer, Shamora. I don't know a lot of personal professional clowns, but my point is, again, we have to innovate. We have to look around at who's making money. That's what an entrepreneur does. Most of us are operations people who go into business and we're reluctant entrepreneurs and we're stuck. We're not making the pile of money because we really don't know what we don't know about running a successful business. And that's why I said, you may not agree with Kevin O'Leary, but 6 months, a year, you're not making bank. Maybe we need to move on. We certainly need to look at strategies. What do we got to change? What are we going to do different? We're going to give the business another 6 months. I need to change strategies. Maybe I need to put gas in the car. Good question. Anybody else?
Anybody else have a question?
So what advice do you have for like keeping track of like those sales and those budgets? Like, do you have any good tools to use? Or I know that Excel is one, but like for me myself right now, like I've been trying to do my own business plan, and I need to create graphs for, you know, what I for projection for my nonprofit, and that's not necessarily my thing, you know. But do you have any like tips on the best way to kind of keep track of those things, the sales, the budgets, the marketing projections, things like that?
You're passionate about your nonprofit, yeah, George? Did you start it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, here's what I've learned in 28 years of being in business, working in people's heads. That's what I do. People ask me, I move gray matter around. So you didn't go into this business to be a business guy, and then somebody's trying to retrofit you with Excel. I've never seen a business owner do well trying to create Excels, especially when they have a heart like yours to do service, right? You're doing essentially some form of social work as a nonprofit. So, you know, find a template. And going back to Shelley's earlier question, thank you for reminding me, you know, three other high ROI, that's return on investment, not ROI. Somebody kept saying, who's ROI? I keep hearing you say ROI. It's return on investment. High ROI strategies are not like sell more stuff, right? Generate more funds. Those are low end strategies of volume. Even target marketing is a low end strategy. High end strategies would include looking at your processes. Your processes. How is it that you deliver X, Y, and Z? What is the process for that? What is the process for generating leads or sales? What system or systems do you have in place? Corporations have systems. They've ratcheted it down because there's a board of directors and a gazillion investors, and they want every piece of profit wrung out of there. But as small business people, we don't think about that. So processes, systems, and your people. You have to be very careful if you're a small business owner. Most of us hire the wrong people, even in large businesses. They estimate over 60% of employees by large employers. Large would be over 100 employees, right? For all of you. That's not SBA large, it's just large. 2/3 of the time they hire the wrong employee for the job. So imagine the odds stacked against you as a small business person and running a nonprofit. You're like, well, there's a mirror under your nose and you're breathing and you seem to have the passion I have, so I can hire you for minimum wage, right? We have to be very careful. We should always be, after we've funded marketing, we should be funding, making sure we get the best people in our business. Most of us will have dynamic growth. And notice I said that in the order that I gave it to you. First, fix your processes, like your planning process. Well, I don't have a planning process. Okay, well, let's talk about that. We can have that conversation. I don't have systems. Should I use Excel? Well, what do you know about Excel? Well, I'm okay with it, but I'd have to build it out, right? If you don't have all those columns, it's not easy to enter in data. And then third, you don't want to bring the employees in. My favorite analogy is, if any of you garden, right? You know what happens to a climbing rose if you don't put it on a trellis? Any of you that garden? What happens to a climbing rose? You don't put it on a trellis.
Doesn't it spread?
It just spreads and it becomes a pile of brambles, and it doesn't produce flowers because it can't reach the light. And that's what we do with people. We take perfectly good people and we put them into our business, and we fail to give them the processes and the systems they need, right? A job description is part of the process. We make sure that their application comes in and we compare it against the job description. Oh, you've done these things. Oh, you haven't done these things. A system would be, I'm going to make calls to find out from your last 2 employers, because history is a good indicator of future performance. Here's my best value for you, George, and anyone else that's interested. There's another Zoom like this I'm conducting with Fresno State in 2 days. I don't know if Benjamin's there. Yeah, he may know about this already. So we're going to do Bending the Curve. Bending the Curve is going to showcase that system, George, if you'd like to see it for free. It's 45 minutes in Q&A. All of you are invited, doesn't cost anything. I'm not even sure how to get that up on the screen in a split second here, so I'll have to do that while Shelly's doing something else. But my point is that you could all see a very simple system that's used by nonprofits, small business owners, and Fortune 500 companies. And that should be its own true value for you. Everybody across the board can use that system effectively to grow their organization.
I like that. What day is that? You said in 2 days?
It's Wednesday. Here, let me see if I can pull this up on my calendar over here.
Anybody, while he's pulling that up, did anybody else have any questions? Claudia?
Yeah. So Michael, while you're pulling that up, my service of, I help people figure out how much their art is worth. It's more one-time people. Like, you know, if they get their art valued, they don't need me back for a long time.
Yep.
So it really is not going to be helpful for me to call up past clients and say, hi, what can I do for you? And they're like, oh no, you did it already. So that's where I'm getting a little stuck, because this is, I got a service and I'm always trying to, you know, my service is very unusual. How many freaking art appraisers do you know? Probably none. So, you know, how do you get a real tight niche service like that to connect with old clients that aren't necessarily going to need you?
Great question.
Ask for new clients.
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
for referrals.
So, you know, 2 things come to mind. One is I have a really high-end photographer here in the area. And so by her arguable statements, her husband can't figure out why she charges so much for photographs. But in her mind, she's creating art. So you're valuing art and she's creating art, right? I mean, we're talking about $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 portraits, right? And I love her story. Hey, this is a lifetime thing. I'm capturing a moment, I'm putting it on canvas, and I can have that even painted, right? It's you and the grandkids frozen in that window of time, you and your hunting dog, you and your Corvette, right? So she has a similar problem. A very, very small percentage of the clients, unless they're having the Winchester Mansion. Do you know about that out there in Philadelphia? It's a house we have out here in San Jose. The lady just kind of went nuts, and they told her, as long as you keep building this thing, you'll never die. So there's rooms that go anywhere, but most people don't have unlimited space to hang artwork, right? So number one, it does behoove you. I've got to get you to unpack and change your mindset, Claudia. You should be calling those past clients. You should know, first and foremost, hey, it's been a year, it's been 3 years, it's been 5 years. What's it look like? Are you still enjoying it? Take them back to the positive emotions. It's really important that you get them to articulate those emotions. And I would go first and foremost with 3 simple questions that would apply to everyone. 1, do you recall the experience, and would you mind telling me in 10 words or 10 or 20 words that I could share with my other clients? What was the experience, right? We talked about taste, touch, sight, smell, sound. What was the experience like? And can you define it in 10 or 20 words? Don't let them tell you, well, Claudia did good work. That's not going to get anybody excited. Claudia was really friendly. Claudia answered the phone. We'd use Claudia again. Claudia had an approach that made me feel like I could trust her. We felt the appraisal was not only fair, but appropriate. And the second question, of course, is leading up to this, which is, would you use me again? wow, that's kind of awkward. I don't know why you're asking that. Well, you know, I haven't had any business from you in 3, 4, 5, 7 years. So I just was wondering. Well, no, it really wasn't that good. Okay, that's good to know. I would really be open to your feedback about what I might do differently. But the third question is the game changer. And that is, who else do you know? I realize you probably don't need your artwork valued again, or you would have called me. Oh, actually, we just got back from the Bahamas and I do have one. Okay, you tripped across some business. But ultimately, you're going for that metric, right? That what was their personal experience working with Claudia? And if you get them to tell it to you, would it be all right if I put that on my Facebook page? Could I use that on my LinkedIn profile? Would it be okay to put that on my website? And 9 times out of 10, yeah, Claudia, we love working with you. Sorry, we don't have any business, not a problem. Before I hang up the phone though, do you have names of 2 other people? People of means know people of means. Dogs with fleas know dogs with fleas. So don't call your low-end clients, the ones that beat you up on price, that complain about it, all the best clients. So I do think you can do that. Yes, Claudia? It's doable. Right on.
Yeah, I really appreciate you trying to get me to anchor them on good positive emotions. And, you know, I do get referrals, but they're boring as all hell.
Yeah.
And I really like that you are trying to have me encourage them to give me a referral that's emotionally based versus factually based. Like,
Beautiful.
That's what I want. I want them to have a really good time with me, you know, as their art appraiser.
Yeah. Well, and there's a stereotype, right? So the more you can break that down, you can be the warm, fuzzy one when the rest of them are just, you know, pencil necked and tight and not really very friendly. I'm sure you have spreadsheets that George would love to see on how you calculate all that stuff. But, you know, I mean, again, at the end of the day, people don't buy intellectually. Right? I'd love to. That's my own point. They buy emotionally. They buy based upon they like you, and the more you can help them articulate all the other positive things. Well, it smelled good. She wasn't offensive like the other guy. He makes me feel good. She sent me a thank you gift. I've got to imagine that you have some big high-end clients. Did you send thank you gifts? Hey, I'm remiss. I found this lovely bottle of wine, gift wrap it and hand deliver it, left it on your porch earlier today with some COVID cookies.
Did you catch that?
Arts go on.
That was some great advice. Did you find the info?
I'm not able to drag this PDF in here, so I'm now looking for problem is I got to find the link. So maybe you can get one more question or somebody else. You guys are smart people out there. I really wish I could come out. I'm way overdue for a good Philly sandwich. So maybe somebody else has some other comments that they could help, because this is the way I find people work best. You put a group of smart entrepreneurs in a room together. Somebody says something, it's like popcorn. So what else could you guys do?
I actually have a question for Claudia. So you work with artists and helping them with praising their art. What about the actual selling of the art? Is that kind of like a process that they're kind of left to do on their own? Because if so, I think that's one way that you may be able to kind of continue the relationship with them and add value. Because from my experience, it's always about, you know, how it is that you can add value to people. And so if you can find some way to add value to your customers even after the appraisal, I think that's one way to kind of keep them along the journey with you and, you know, kind of keep them involved in what it is that you're doing, and a way for you to kind of keep in touch with them and their process of actually selling the art.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, George. Unfortunately, I don't work with artists to sell their art. I'm working more with people who have art and their insurance agent says, hey, you know, in order to have this properly insured, you got to have an appraiser get you an independent report. The weirdest thing is we've had major disasters here. Like, you know, one day our day was night because of the smoke, and we're always under fire and a lot of other crap that we have to deal with. But I also think people are just so paralyzed now. So much is happening to them. Getting an art appraisal is not top of the list, right? So hopefully with connections and talking to them. But yeah, what you're talking about, George, is like an artist's coach, like someone who's going to help coach artists to selling their works. Because if you're an artist, you'd rather make art than sell it.
I have a question. Hi, I'm Sheree. I was wondering, so, you know, like, I don't know all the ins and outs of your business. I just heard you say you appraise art. So I was wondering, you know, you mentioned insurance companies. Have you considered connecting with insurance companies?
I have a little bit. Yeah.
Because I definitely think that would be a way to go.
Yeah. And when people ask me for insurance, I ask them, who is your insurance company? And I try to get a hold of that company, because I got to tell you, most people don't even know where the hell to go for an appraiser. Even the insurance companies themselves don't know how and where to find an art appraiser.
And where are you located?
San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay. So I don't know a lot about San Francisco, but I know that, you know, galleries, like, have you considered just like going to galleries where a lot of art gets sold, where they like basically match buyers with, you know, sellers and artists? Yeah.
And that's a great tip, because some of these galleries do have clients that have a ton of art, and so I've gotten work out of that, like some really good museum donation appraisals.
I would also suggest like art auctions and auction houses like Sotheby's.
You know, they are wanting, they do evaluations because they want that art to come to them. So they're not always considered independent people, because they have an ulterior motive on what the value is they're telling you your art is worth, because they want you to consign it with them.
I'm just saying that you need to be where the water is wet.
Yep. Yeah.
And people are buying and selling in certain arenas. And if you're looking at making a lot of money off your appraisals, which I presume that you take percentages, correct?
No, it's never any money based on the value of your artwork, because that pollutes the value. I would.
Oh, okay, right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Totally
All right.
impartial, charged by the hour. Yeah.
Okay, so you charge by the hour. Okay, wow. All right. So other question is, I think, so when like you need to possibly be in those places where people are buying and selling. And I'm thinking, well, since it's not a percentage based, but it will help you clientele wise, like looking in places where those people are, you know, like for example, well, I know right now it's kind of weird because there's not a lot of schools happening, high-end schools, boarding schools, art schools. People pay tons and tons of money to be in those spaces. They're always having like gallery shows. They're having new up and coming artists come through, like, and people are scouting there. So just out of the possibility of running into the right people in the right spaces, like those people aren't running out of cash right now. A lot of those people who are in that upper echelon that are still purchasing art, they've got the money and they're making money off of what's happening right now. They're not losing it. Yeah. So you can be right in there.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
I want to chime in really quick. Claudia, does your business model, I'm gonna reference back to social media. Does your business have a presence on Facebook by chance?
Yep, I got Facebook page and Instagram.
So I'm wondering, have you tried to tap into utilizing your Facebook page as an area for artists that you appraise art to display their art specifically through your business? And not, so earlier we talked about the value of what your company is offering. So if you were to sit down with a client and appraise their art and say, hey, I have this amazing website where I can put your art up and there's potential for people to purchase through this page, that word of mouth spreads wildly, I think. And then you really start to get into the space of the value of what you're offering is more than just the appraisal. You're offering a space for the artist to put something. And I think right now in this climate, as Michael had said, we're very digitally based. And as we continue on with business, I mean, the word that we've heard a lot of is pivot. A lot of these businesses have pivoted. They're starting to utilize digital platforms more so than in person. And that it's going to be something that's going to continue to happen well past this. But I think that that would be a really great opportunity for you. And just having that space, I mean, when one person tells one person, that becomes a 7-person, they share it with 7 more people, and so on and so forth. And then you really start building that capacity. So I think that that should be something that you should look at. And I mean, even if it becomes a facet of that business page where it becomes an extension of the actual business, but you can say, here's a digital gallery of people that art that I've appraised. I mean, I'm sure you've thought about a lot of this, but that was just one thought. I think that you could benefit from that.
Thank you.
All right.
And
Anybody
who
else?
are you on Instagram? Like, who are you, Claudia? What's your handle?
On Insta, I'm I have to look it up.
Okay.
Hess Art Advisory.
Hess Art Advisory.
Yeah, Hess Art Advisory.
Hess is a venerable name out here in California, Claudia. I hope you're related to the winemaking family.
Yeah, unfortunately not. They have a really good art.
You wouldn't be on here, would you? You could do their collection alone.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see I've populated with a lot of different images and things on there, whether it's really working or not. You know, a lot of artists asked to follow my page, but my clients are someone we're gonna think about a little bit more in the space of more high net worth individuals. But who's to say that those high net worth individuals wouldn't? I mean, I know so many artists, and I love art. I collect it myself. I walk the walk. I talk the talk. So I would just have to, like you said, think about, Benjamin, how to maybe make that a side aspect of my work is not promoting artists, but just showing art that I know about.
I mean, that could even become a package thing where you're saying, you know, I charge this base rate per hour to appraise, but there's an additional fee if artists want their art to be included into a digital gallery, where I'm sure you know many people who are purchasing this art where they would have exclusive access to that. And then you make it kind of, I mean, there's really potential to grow this into many different things beyond what it originally is. But that's just the base idea. I mean, you could really take it anywhere.
Yeah.
What is your interest? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay doing just what you're doing, or?
No, so great question. I don't know if you can see on my Insta, I have a word called Art Sherpa. So I started branching out, and I realized that there are people out there like me who love art, but we don't want to be dragging our sorry butts through gallery after gallery after gallery. We want fun and adventure. So I designed a trip to Santa Fe, and it's called Art Adventuring. And unfortunately, COVID put the kibosh on that. But that's another dream of mine, is incorporating travel with art fun.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
I think we're at time now. We're at time, so we must. I believe you put your information for the webinar in the chat.
Yeah, I put it there. Here, I'll paste it in one more time. And then I just really want to throw the gauntlet down for everyone here. So I'm going to share this screen real quick and just ask you to take a moment and write down the first thing that comes to your mind, which is what, if anything, will you do differently as a result of our time together today? Right? We talked about a lot of different strategies. Some of you realize now that not having a written plan is serious. Others of you may have it, but haven't done a good job getting the measurable objectives, and still others need new strategies. You're passionate about your business, you know exactly what you want to accomplish, but whatever you're doing is not working. And we can have, further conversation. if you'd like to connect. And so the second slide here is that there's 3 offers here for us to connect if you'd like to continue this dialogue. First one costs absolutely nothing. You can sign up for our free newsletter, as I suggested, each month. If you're considering a newsletter, knock it off, meaning literally, steal whatever I put in there and come up with your own version of it. But I think, I follow the best practices that I've taught for over a decade. All of you have texting, and what is it? I'm going to forget what the text number is on here. Oh, it's on the 3rd card. Don't worry about that. Anyway, you can text the digits to me if you want to register, or just go to our website and I'll put that in there. There is a 9 Ps promotional assessment. Some of you have websites or you're using social media because you don't have or don't want to. And we do that online right now. So if you want to know why the stuff you're putting out is not working, I cut the price in half. And it'll be good through the end of this month. Instead of $500, it's $250. Whoops. And then some of you may benefit significantly from having a coach, right? Somebody that holds or helps hold you accountable. So you can choose either way you want. You don't have to buy the whole horse. If you'd like to just try it out, it's 99 bucks. That's 60-70% savings over my regular fee structure. And if you want to buy them with unlimited access, what that means is you get me for 50 minutes a week. And if you decide you need to call, text, email, I got a question, I got an opportunity, for another $25, you can have unlimited access to phone calls, emails, texts, faxes. I've even been known to respond to smoke signals. So whatever I can do to help you get to the next level, we're here for you. And there's contact information there as well. We good?
Well, you can leave it up for a second just to make
Do you
sure.
mind if I ask one more quick question?
I think George says he has one more quick question.
Absolutely. I'm here. I'm not going. Go ahead.
This is one question I feel like is very difficult. I feel like it's been to find the answers. So many different answers out there, but what do you think are the different components that make up a business plan? Like what should be included in all the.
I think I understand your question, George. And we're starting to get fragmented here. So, I use hands because we can all remember, and that's about as long as I can remember now, tipping the scale at 60 years of age. So there's only 5 things in a good business plan. I don't care what book you've read, who you've talked to. These are 5 essential things, right? The first is vision. It answers the question, what am I trying to build? And we will talk about this on Wednesday in detail. What am I trying to build? The second question is, why does this exist? I mean, there's already probably dozens, if not hundreds, of other businesses that are providing that good or service. So why does yours exist? What is your USP, unique selling proposition? The third is, what will I measure? Those are the objectives, right? You don't need a lot. Nonprofit probably shouldn't have more than 3 to 5. An established business doing $500,000 or more might have as many as 5, but no more than 9. You cannot measure everything. I mean, you can, but you'll go nuts trying, right? You won't have the time and resources. The fourth question is, how will I achieve that objective? Remember, I said there's always at least 3 hows. So those are the strategies, how, and how. I will accomplish 20% growth in 2021 by doing this, and this. And then the fifth question is, what is the work to be done? So if you're a barber, I'm not interested in, well, I got to go cut hair tomorrow, then I got to sweep the floor, then I got to get some supplies. Or Mary Kay, I got to order some supplies, I got to check in with. That's the day-to-day stuff. The work to be done is, what are those big benchmarks by month and by quarter? What has to happen this month in order for me to be going in the right direction? What has to happen by the end of the quarter in order for me to be going in the right direction? When you lay out your workload based upon a chronological timeline, it cascades very nicely from vision to mission, mission to objectives objective to strategies, and strategies to here's my timeline. Here is the work that must be done. I either start this or finish it by this date. If I don't do that, I'm not entitled to imagine the success that I wrote down in my objectives. That's why business plans don't work for most people. They're too long and they sit on the shelf. Nobody does anything.
So you're saying that you keep to those 5 and you don't have to make it like a book.
Right. Right. 1 page. More information on our website. 1-page planning and performance system. It's used by New York Life, Wells Fargo Bank, dozens of other financial services, and little tiny startup companies like Build-A-Bear out here in California, nonprofits like the YWCA. I got George so excited, he got up and ran to go get the program right there.
Hey, George, so what I think is so cool, Michael, is that you're tapping in to, again, the emotional side. Why do people do what they do? Oh, that's so cute. Look at that.
Oh, George and
oh, George, you're killing us. Oh. Hi, baby. So George, I was saying that Michael's helping us stay connected to the emotions. The emotions, why the hell are we doing what we're doing? And to keep us emotionally invested in our business plan and figuring out what are people's emotions when they are using our good or service. So it doesn't, like he says, it doesn't have to be a book, but if you've got the driving emotions behind it, you know, you can get others behind it. That's at least what I got out of this.
No, I got that too.
That's my aha.
I like that, Claudia. I think that's where I haven't done the whole writing out the plan thing. I'm more of a I can do it, let's go. So I think that when the first question was what if anything will you do differently? I'm going to write out my plans. I'm going to go back, even though I've already done the business. Now I'm going to go back and write the plan.
All right, Shelly Shell. I'm gonna be your. I'm gonna be your.
Yeah.
Have you done it? Have you done it?
You know what? And I need that because I might put it off to the side, but I want to do it.
Okay.
Oh, does he want to say something, George? Victoria said, thank you. Victoria Nelson said, thank you, Shelly and Michael, for the great information. Thank you for coming, Victoria Nelson, and your husband. I saw him for a second. All right, everyone. If anybody doesn't have a question, we are at the 9:13 mark, and that means we are definitely over the hour. But Michael, do you have any last and closing things that you want to say, or?
Find your purpose. Your purpose will help you tap into your drive. If you're just doing this to pay bills, you're going to run out of gas sooner or later. So find your purpose, make the world a better place. Realize that behind every angry customer you have out there is an opportunity for you to improve the customer experience and to improve someone else's relationship. And the flip side of that is if they tell you you're too expensive, then they shouldn't be your customer anyway, because they're not buying a relationship, they're buying a widget. And none of you are going to be competing with Jeff Bezos. He already has Amazon. You can't be in the commodity business. You can't be in the Walmart business. You got to be in the relationship business. But be prepared. There are people that are going to beat you up on price.
Yeah, that is true. All right, everybody. Did everybody get all the information from the chat? If you want to be on the webinar with Michael on Wednesday, the link is in the chat. And you can go over there and get it and grab it and click on the link. There's a lot going on in the chat, so make sure you find it.
It's Wednesday at 11?
Hmm?
It said Wednesday at 11?
It says Bending the Curve, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, PST.
Pacific time. Oh, that's 3 hours. That's 2 p.m.
2
Okay.
p.m. for time. Yep.
2 p.m.
That's when we get up out here in California. You know, it's pretty late. Gotta catch the wave, dude.
No.
I think that is, make sure everybody got that. I see a lot of things. Khadijah says she sends cards to your patients, but you send them to all your past patients, or you keep them going. Got it. Do you send them to their house, or do you send them via email?
I send it to their house, and I send birthday as well.
Okay, doctor.
Who doesn't like getting a birthday little like letter? You know, we're thinking of you, come in and get a free treatment or a free service. We like that. We miss you. Have a great day.
I mean, I think that's a great thing. I don't think I've ever gotten one from my doctor. Maybe my dentist. My dentist sends a card that says, "Come get your teeth cleaned." That's the only one I've gotten. The doctor just says, never. Matter of fact, never got one from my doctor ever. Go, Dr. Khadijah.
She's an elite service.
Yeah, that is
she provides. Yes, so she provides elite services.
I like that. Boom. Very nice meeting everyone. California meets Philly, Philly meets California. That was actually amazing to see and meet everyone new. We do this every third Monday of the month on Zoom. Next month is going to be a little more nonprofit. If anybody that knows nonprofits, there's going to be nonprofit accounting. Because I think sometimes we forget about the accounting part, which I know I do. I'm not really a numbers person, so.
Like, not my zone of genius. That's what accountants are for.
It's not my zone of genius either, but we do have to keep a track of the money or figure out the way to do it and get the right accountant. So that's next week. So next month, every third Monday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much. This is being recorded on YouTube. It will be in, I say about 12 hours, will be available on YouTube on Single on a Saturday night. Is the name of the
we need our own page. We don't have our own page.
No, there's no page for Motivation Monday. I put it on Single on a Saturday night because it has the most followers. I'm sorry. I'm excited about that, of course. So I put it where I know other people are.
Makes sense, Shelly. I still think we should get our own page, though.
I will think about the Motivation Monday page.
There is a page, isn't it?
Excuse me? I don't know, everybody sounded a little muffled now, but Motivation Monday does have a Facebook page. Absolutely, Facebook page, Motivation Monday, Mentors Network, so we are there. But everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, Michael.
I appreciate you.
I wish everybody the best. And let's see.
Thank you so much for the video. Everybody's good. I think it's just us. Thank y'all so much. Y'all had me like tears. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Rashawn, for putting that together. I definitely loved it. It was like, yo. But thanks so much. But I don't know about Motivation Monday, Sheree, YouTube page, because it's, I don't know. I don't know. I have to think about it.
What?
I don't know. Because to do something, I'm gonna say this, to do anything, it takes a lot of consistency and really specialized interest in that one thing.
But there's a lot of business people. There is a specialized interest, entrepreneurship.
Hello,
it is
Taffy. I am so excited.
What'd you say, Taffy? You look, Rashawn saying yes. You really have to push it.
No, that was totally a mistake. I wanted to think of the name. So this is something I learned. Instead of creating another page, you can create a playlist. I just wanted to get the right title. So, and you can set different folders for different things. So
that's what it has.
On the same page, you just do a specific playlist. I'm sorry about that. I just
no, it's fine, and that's what
Yeah.
Motivation Monday has. It has its own playlist. That's what it does have. So Rashawn is saying you preach it to the choir. It is YouTube is a bit different beast. It's a different animal. It's not as easy as the rest of them. Instagram,
No, it takes
Facebook.
a while to build. I know, but I just think you've been really consistent with this. You've been doing this now. This is what, 2 years? It feels like.
No, it has been 2 years. Very consistent. I'm not saying it's not consistent, but I don't know. I'll think about the thing, but it does have its own playlist. So if you go to Single on a Saturday Night, Motivation Monday has its own playlist. If you go to my page, Shelly Shell Williams, it has its own playlist. Only because I don't know if I didn't know I was going to push it, and we all know what I was missing in the beginning, which was a year worth of shows.
Shelly,
Okay.
you're recording.
Huh? What'd you say, Rashawn?
I said you're still recording.
Oh, shoot.